You're listening to your favorite podcast about Flesh and Blood and its community. Welcome to Last Ditch Effort. Welcome back, everyone, to the Last Ditch Effort podcast. My name is Maurice. My co-host is Patrick.
Hello. Welcome back. And my co-host is Ralph.
Hello, everybody.
And we want to welcome you to this very special guest episode. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Swiss national champion, Michael, with us today.
Hi, hello. Thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing very good. Thank you very much.
Should I call you Michael or just Michael?
And whatever fits for you.
Okay.
It's fine.
We want to talk to Michael today about his legendary run at Swiss Nats, about what made him pick Dash and his finish becoming the Swiss national champion. You guys want to start with that?
Let's start with that. Ever since I know Michael, he has been playing Dash, sometimes more, sometimes less, exploring new heroes. Every time I think I got paired into him and in an armory or wherever, and he was playing Dash, I was scared, which also resulted in like a horrible win rate because I was always playing Kano and he was always playing Dash, and then I was always sad. But yeah, let's start with the interview. So this year, heading into Swiss nationals, like how did you feel? How did you prepare? Were you convinced that you were going to win it all, or what was the vibe coming into Swiss nationals?
So actually, when Part of Mistwell released, I felt not really confident on Dash because every one of the new heroes looked really strong and also not really as a good matchup against or for Dash. So Sen was just way too fast. Nu is generally not a good matchup. And Enigma in the beginning looked like she could easily fatigue you. So in the beginning, I wasn't confident at all. But that kind of changed over the few weeks when also the build on Dash changed from hybrid to pure boost. And yeah, I still didn't think that I would make it even to top 8, but yeah, it felt better than in the beginning. So I was going there without any expectations and just for fun basically, and then see where it goes.
Were you considering any other heroes in that case?
I didn't consider any other heroes just because I thought it's going to be the last nationals where I can play Dash. And I just wanted to go with Dash one last time to Nets and see where I can go.
So you want to give us a quick recap of how your tournament went then? We know how it ended, but maybe we start at the beginning.
Yeah. Day 1 started actually very well. The first 3 rounds CC, I went 3-0. So it was 3 rounds CC, 3 rounds Strat, 3 rounds CC, right? For those who may not know. I had first 2 Levias and then Azalea and won all of them. Then draft didn't go as well. I drafted Nu and I went 1 and 2. I thought my deck was good enough to go 2-1, but I think I didn't have enough practice and I didn't really play it very cleanly. And then the last 3 rounds went again 2-1 and against Dash, Azalea and Prism. So I went into top 8 as 7th place.
To go a little bit more into detail, you said the first three rounds CC were 2 Levias and an Azalea. I'm not sure if those would have been matchups that I would have prepared too much beforehand. Were you expecting a lot of Levia and Azalea, or was it just my deck is good enough to beat whatever?
I mean, I wasn't really expecting a lot of Levia. I just knew that Marco wasn't Levia. Other than him, I didn't know if anyone would actually come with that deck, because I played a lot against him because we were in the same armory, right, in the same locals. I kind of have quite some reps into it, and against Azalea, I think I quite expected some of them. Azalea was quite a good deck, maybe not the best deck, but yeah, certainly prepared for it. And yeah, as also said in the interview, the Signal Jammer tech recommended from Maurice saved me there also.
So that's good to hear. In regard to the draft, how did you prepare for draft? Did you play, let's say, 50 drafts online and then 50 drafts in person, and then you were like, yes, I'm super confident in this draft format? Or did you just draft based on vibes, or what was your process there?
So I didn't practice online at all. I just practiced in person and in the few armories that we had. So I think in armories maybe 4 times. And then when we arrived at Besties, we drafted like 2 times, right? Something like that. Mm-hmm. So I had maybe, I would say, 5 to 8 drafts that I did before. So I didn't felt comfortable at all on it. Usually I just try to like force Zen. Avoided Enigma at all cost. I just didn't want to play Enigma because I really couldn't play it. And then in the draft, for me, I had the feeling that Nu was open and then tried to play Nu. But as said, like some game, I really felt like that I just wasn't prepared enough, and that showed in the games.
For the listeners who are not aware, before nationals, before the national weekend, we all met at a draft / training camp and jammed a few drafts and talked about the strategies and what to expect and things like this. And there we did some drafting too. But what I found very interesting is, like, I don't know how you guys perceive this. When we drafted there, it didn't feel like there are many people that really want to play Zen. And that also happened to be the case at the Swiss Nationals. So if you draft a lot online, which some people did, right? And there are always 3 to 4 Zens in the pool, a lot of people forcing Zen. And then you come to Swiss Nationals and people just don't want to play Zen at all. You have 4 to 5 Enigmas in the pool and stuff like that. I think that's where it could actually even do harm if you draft too much online and expect people to be on top of like solved draft formats or whatever. What do you think, Ralf? What's your opinion on that?
I think maybe it's like everybody is like, oh, all the other guys gonna draft Zen, so I'm definitely not gonna draft Zen. And and stay open to the other.
But that happens every year. I remember like when Phi was a thing, people did not draft Phi in our locals. Like it was always like Dromai versus Icelander, and then there was this one Phi who would just like destroy the entire pod.
Yeah, I think in general in Switzerland the meta, even around draft, people are always like hesitant to just pick the best deck. I think like even with Zen in CC, there was not that much Zen compared to other national championships, right? Like just percentage wise, there was not that much Zen. Maybe people here just don't like Ninja. That's also like a possibility.
But for me personally, it was like in all the armories and in all the trainings, I'm not trying to draft Zen because I think the other decks are harder to play. So actually, I want to get more reps on the harder decks. In the tournament, I drafted. I was in the same pot as Michael there, and I got past some very good Zen cards, so I ended up in Zen. I think like in the tournament, I tried to go just for the best deck you can get and the best hero you can play. But for training drafts, whatever, let's just try not to be in the like, you have to force Zen deck and try the other ones, I guess.
Yeah,
but at that stage you're always reacting if you play a big tournament like Swiss Nationals, right? So if you say, okay, I'm not forcing anything, I'm reacting to the seats in front of me, then your success strongly depends on what the people before you pick. Because what happened in my pot is just like 2 people pivoted into Enigma pack 2 or something like this. And that destroyed like all the Enigmas at the table, basically. So if I would have just sat down and would have forced Zen or I don't know, or Nu, then I think the draft would have ended differently for me. But coming back to the CC portion, I think MSC draft will be in the past soon, right? There are no more big tournaments ahead of us in this format. But with the CC format, I still think that MST heroes are quite dominant. And as Michael said, it seemed like they were the predominant heroes in CC at national season. So when you decided to play Dash, were there any strong reasons or cards that you said, okay, I choose Dash and I choose these cards because this way I can beat Sen or I can beat Nu or whatnot?
So I think the main change that happened with MST was that people got away from the EVOs in Dash and started playing Meganetic again, and maybe even Rainbow T-Bone. Yeah, I also took Meganetic in it. I was never really a fan of Yellow T-Bone in this format. I played in Heavy Hitters season, but not in this one. So yeah, there were some changes going on. I think the one that changed Dash the most was basically getting rid of the whole pistol plan. One chamber is still in it, but you didn't play any purifiers anymore, or second, third chamber, no D-reacts. It was basically a pure boost plan, maybe combined with chamber, but still boost.
The chamber is always necessary for the matchups that are just trying to outvalue you, because chamber will always just be like pitcher blue 4 damage, because you can pistol, go again pistol. And especially against Nu and against some of the fatiguier brutes, so like Rhinar and stuff, you have to have this, because otherwise, like, a single disruption card will like ruin your entire turn.
So if tomorrow were another national championship, Michael, what would you bring? Would you bring the exact same deck now, or you think the meta has evolved already in the last couple of weeks that you would be hesitant to bring the exact same deck?
So I would still bring Dash, but if you look at PT, it maybe has evolved a bit. Like the assassins got really dominant, I think, over the last couple of weeks. I don't know if that would affect the meta in Switzerland, or if it still would be the same as maybe 1 or 2 months ago. But I would still bring Dash just because I have the most reps on it.
So how do you think, how is your Nu matchup?
It's definitely not favorable. So I would say it's rather on Nu's hand to win it. It's not terrible. I would say maybe a 40-60 or something. Yeah.
But so they can't just fatigue you, like just block out and you do whatever?
I think fatiguing is rather, I mean, you need to care for sure as Dash, but they also need to disrupt you. If they just trying to fatigue you and don't disrupt you, you can set up max Vs or high octanes, and then I think you will get there. But if they try to kind of do something in between, then it can get difficult. But the thing with Nu is they usually need to keep a few cards in hands to actually disrupt you, like have the attacks and then some attack reacts on it. So they can't block that well if they want to disrupt you.
Makes a lot of sense. But I think coming back to the Swiss meta right now, yesterday in the first round of the Armory, I played Zuri. So I think we have arrived in the Assassin meta now.
Wait, because Zuri is top tier, right?
It is. I mean, I had no chance, right? I was on Bolton though. So coming back to your Swiss national experience, do you want to walk us through your top 8s then on day 2? Like, how did the games go? What were your pairing? What did you think before sitting down and playing the games?
Sure. So first game in top 8 was against Kano. So it was exactly like last year.
Not exactly like last year. It was not me. Right, on Kano.
Other player, but same matchup for me. And yeah, this time I felt more comfortable. Last year I was actually very nervous because it was first time I played in top 8 against a Kano on Dash, and I didn't really have that much reps on it. But since then, I also played in the RTN against the Kano in top 8. So it was now the third time in a row in the top 8 I faced Kano. And I was quite confident also because of the new build, basically, because have a lot more sideboard options now. Besides AB3, I also had Spellvoid 1. I could also play more blues, a bit more yellows. It was just better overall, I think, into Kano now, even than last year. And yeah, in the end, I think it was quite a comfortable win from my side. At the end, he had to search for a tome, didn't find it. And yeah, I just had Lidl on the board.
Yeah. Did you board in the Signal Jammer against Kano too?
Yes, I did, just because it was a blue also.
Yeah, I think that that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I had with Tekla Pounder in the end when I started Tekla Pounder, but I still had 25 blues in the end in the deck, so that's quite good.
That's a lot of blues and the natural AB on the equipment. Yeah, I think it's after what you did last year to me. I also feel confident in Dash on that side of the matchup, and it went similarly, right? Last year I knew I couldn't get through. I tried to fatigue you and I was dead in 4 turns. So yeah, I think as long as Dash is there, it will be quite hard for Kano. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the first game. Mm-hmm. So you knew the first round would be Kano, right? Yeah. So the night before, did you prepare a lot? Did you come back to where we slept, and then you were like, okay, now I need to jam some games, or what did you do like after day 1 to prepare for this day 2 matchup and the other potential matchups?
So no, I didn't really. When I got back, I more have like the mindset of if I get back, I just try to relax and get a lot of sleep and just like be fit in the next morning. Don't really drink too much alcohol or whatever. So just that I'm very fit on Sunday, and I think that's for me most important. If I do maybe 1-2 Kano games, I don't think that would help me a lot. It's like with an exam, when you start preparing for the exam 5 minutes before it probably won't help much, but rather stress you out. So I just took it more relaxing. As said, I played Kano one few times now in top 8, so I just knew I knew what to do, and if the cards line up, I will get there. If not, Kano can always get you out of nowhere. If that happens, then I was like, okay, if it happens, then so it will be.
So stay rested, hydrated, and eat enough and get enough sleep, and then things will work out. So compared to last year, you would say you were like less nervous, and that probably helps a lot in the game decisions too. Is that right?
Yeah,
good to say.
So. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Then let's move to the semifinals. What did you face there, and how scary was it?
So I faced Enigma in the semifinals, and I felt like, I was happy to face Enigma because it was either between Riptide and Enigma, and I didn't play against that Riptide before because it seemed like a kind of fatigue list or defensive list, and this I think it would have been probably my worst matchup out of all the top 8 decks or players that were still in there. So I was really happy to face Enigma instead. And yeah, my list that I took to the Nationals looked very similar to the one that won New Zealand Nets. So I also had the Hanabi tech in it. And yeah, with it also, I think, went rather more comfortable. So, because the thing is, I think Enigma can't really race you, and she can maybe fatigue you, but with Hanabi it will be very difficult. And yeah, when he started, he played the Spectral Manifestation, I think, first turn. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, if he's trying to fatigue me, to race me, then it's probably going my way. If everything goes just like that, like if I don't completely brick or whatever. Yep. And I had like 3 hands in a row which didn't really line up. Like 2 times I had 2 Max Vs, and so I couldn't play it even with Tekla Core setup. And then the third turn, I drew into a full red hand, no tackle core, but Max V in Arsenal. But that was actually a pretty funny story there. He played then the Phantasmaclasm and put a red T-bone on the bottom. I drew into a blue and played Max V and got the game.
Oh, no. Yeah,
So, that was rough for the opponent, but yeah.
It's one of these examples where like Phantasmaclasm can be the best card in the game, but it also can like be the worst card in the game. It's like whenever I play Phantasmaclasm against Ralph on Prism, I tuck a Herald and he draws into a Celestial Cataclysm and pops. It's that's why I don't play it anymore. It happened.
Phantasmaclasm is such a trap.
Yeah, Phantasmaclasm. All right, cool. So it's you say you were confident in the Enigma matchup with Hanabi Blaster, but I play Enigma quite a lot, and I would also say I'm comfortable into the Dash matchup when they are on Hanabi Blaster. Okay. So I think it's one of these matchups. It's like if both players know exactly what the opponent is trying to do, it gets very interesting. And I mean, for you, it worked out well for you. I think the other player was also very well prepared, most likely in that matchup as well. But from what I've heard is that player prepared matchups a lot and was really grinding a lot. So confident winning in the semifinals. And then what happened in the finals? And another Levaya, I heard.
Right, yeah. In the finals, I played against Marco, very good friend of mine, with whom I actually started playing Flesh and Blood 2 years ago. And so I was really happy to see him in the finals. And he was also the one I played on first day, on second round. And I won that game. So yeah, I was like, that was also a bit like, gave me a bit of a confidence boost, but still we played a lot in armories, and I think we probably are 50-50 on the matchup. And yeah, in the end, I think it was a very interesting game to watch. Like Levaya, the Levaya player had a lot of power cards, 2 Art of Wars, 2 Blood Rush. But in the end, I still managed to get there. Was a very close one. But yeah, was very happy to get the win in the end.
Yeah, I was watching this game from your perspective. Like I was standing behind you basically all game. And there was one turn where it was around this 13 life threshold. And I think just starting Induction Chamber Pistol just allowed you to navigate around like the armor blocks so well, because I remember you had a blue boost card in hand and a red boost card in hand, and I think a counter on Induction Chamber, counter on Pistol. And then instead of just sending the red attack and allowing the armor block to get maximum value, you attack with Pistol, go again, and then with a blue boost card. And then like suddenly the 13, like it was, if I don't block, I'm below 13 life, so I lose my chest piece. If I block this 1 or 2 damage with my chest piece, I lose a lot of value. And just like ending up in this spot, I think this was like a game deciding spot right there. Because if the armor blocks are better at one point, like blocking a Max V or something like this with a chess piece, then it's 4 or 5 more value, and then the game is a lot more close. But I think like navigating around those thresholds with Pistol and Induction Chamber was like, when I was there sitting there, I was like, I see what you're doing. Well done. To me, it really became clear that you knew what you were doing and that it's not your first time playing against Levaya. I really thought that was impressive and very cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I would say from my experience, the Dash Levaya matchup often gets decided by how much value Levaya gets out of their equipment. So that's why I rather play Chamber, because you can just deny more value from their equipment.
Yeah, and that I was surprised when I saw you start Chamber, but then after the game, I was like, okay, cool, I see now. So I have two more small questions. Like you make it through day 1, you make it through day 2, you're sitting there in the finals of Swiss National Championship, but how cool is it to face like a good friend Like how were you like proud? Like after 2 years of this journey, we meet here in the finals. Like what did you feel? What were your thoughts going into this game?
It felt really amazing. Like, it felt like, honestly, it felt kind of like a dream because as said, we both started playing 2 years ago and we knew nothing about the game. We knew each other from playing MTG before. But yeah, then being in the finals together in Swiss Nats, I think can't get any better than that, probably. So it was just amazing, yeah.
I think you can be really, really proud of yourself. Also, like back-to-back top 8, and then this year winning it. I remember the day before Swiss Nationals. There is a small video. I have to see if we can do like a video upload of this. But I was walking around with a camera and I was interviewing Besti, who was the Swiss National champ 2 years ago, and Ralf, who was the national champ last year, and they were both in the pool chilling. And I asked them like some small questions, and then you walk by and it's like, how do you feel? You could be the next Swiss champion. So now fast forward a couple of days and you are the next Swiss champion. So I think that was really funny, your reaction, because you're like, yeah, I'm just here to have a good time. Let's see. Didn't take my comment too serious. And then now we're here. So that's something super funny. And I think being a little bit relaxed and not having too much stress and too much pressure on your shoulders, I think is something that helps make right decisions in games. At least that's whenever I lose, it's because I try too hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think you handled the quote unquote pressure very well.
Yeah, right. I always if I go into a ranked event in Switzerland, my goal is probably always to get into top 8, but I always want to keep my expectations very low, because in my second nationals, I went into there with too much pressure put on myself, and I really made one mistake after the other. So I think for me, it's better if I just have low expectations, just go in and see where it goes, and it's probably better.
And it got you some Dash LL points, I think, which it's so nice to see as a player who started 1.5 years ago or something, and you were always there, always playing Dash through highs and lows, and now finally ending up on the Living Legend board with your favorite hero I think it's so cool and it's so impressive, and it shows that you could have switched to Zen or whatever new hero, but you're like, no, I'm confident in this hero. I'll play this hero. I'll have a good time, and boom, you win. So,
and I think you really, as you said, you played Levaya 3 times, and your experience playing into her, I guess, came in really handy, right?
Yeah, right. I also talked about it with a friend. If I would have switched to Zen 2-3 weeks before Nets, I would probably not even made top 8, in my opinion. I think it's just, in the end, Flesh and Blood really rewards you if you just play what you have most reps on. Obviously, if it's a bad deck for the meta, you will probably not get there, but still, reps is probably more important than just playing the best deck.
Yep.
Yes, there's still 90 points to get for Living Legend for Dash. Do you think...
how much is the World Championship get you?
100, right?
100? So, all right, yeah.
You can get her over the top. Are you tend to plan?
Going to Osaka to get Dash to the LL threshold?
The thing is, I don't even know if I will be able to play Dash at Worlds, because right before Worlds there will be a ProQuest season, so she could actually LL 1 week before, when I'm already in Japan.
Yeah.
So it will be difficult to prepare myself with Dash for Worlds.
What is your backup plan?
I will definitely look at the 2 new Room Blades, and I think if they are anything viable in the meta, at a good spot for it to compete, then I will probably play one of the new Room Blades.
Yeah, I said it before, right? We'll all be Florian mains in September, and Armorays will just be 12 Floyan players putting cards into Banish Zone and making Rune Chant tokens. Thank you very much for your insights from this year's national championship. I think it was super interesting, and also to everyone who watched, I think it was super rewarding seeing someone who's like really enjoyed playing one hero and then winning with this hero this year. I think it felt good for everyone. Like, I was a little bit sad that I was not top 8, but then I was there on the sidelines. I'm like, yeah, let's go, do it. And I think it's something you can really be proud of. And you have to defend your title next year. Maybe not with Dash, but maybe it's Florian time, or maybe it will be Tekla Boston. Who knows?
Yeah,
cool.
Thanks a lot.
So moving on to the other pro player we have. Me, Patrick, and Ralph all attended the Pro Tour in Amsterdam. That was last week, 2 weeks ago. I already forgot.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah. And only Ralph played or was qualified to play in the Pro Tour. And you did pretty well, right?
Yeah, it's basically like I went out of nationals, got clapped by Marco on Levaya, and was like, oh... I'm actually a Levaya player as well, so I just thought I'll go away from Prism for one tournament and try my luck with
him. Join him.
Yeah, I'll try my luck with Levaya on the Pro Tour.
And how was your day one?
Day one was rough. Because I didn't get any CC practice into Zen and into Nu. With Levaya. I was alright on Prism, but not with Levaya, so I went a bit unprepared into the tournament. And my first round was against the Nu. I got clapped. My second round was against the Zen. I got clapped, but then I won the 5 next rounds, so I went 5-2 the first day.
Yeah.
And made it to day 2.
3-0'd the draft, right, as well, in the first day.
Yeah.
How is that different from we just talked a little bit about the draft here at the Swiss Nats. Did you feel like there was a different draft meta, or did you just like force Zen down mid and you still got there?
I always, for me, I always liked the blue decks, like with the blue attacks which only block for 2, but get buffed by 2 attack if you already play the blue card.
Yeah, the spillover, droplet.
Yes, I like these cards, and I always try to get for these first, so I stay open a bit, but I can like play them in any deck.
Yeah.
If I want to. And so the first draft on day 1 went like the draft in nationals, where Zen was just open after 2 or 3 picks. I got handed the pouncing key and was like, oh, okay, I'm the Zen then, why not? And had a really, really good Zen deck, and it got me to the 3-0. So second day I tried the same, but only made it to 1-2. I got forced, I would say, into Nu, but like 2 of the other guys in the draft pot decided to go into Nu at the same time as me. So all of us had like mediocre Nu decks.
Yeah, it's like the danger of switching, staying open and pivoting into a strategy is always other people do it at the same time. That's always what I'm scared of.
Yes.
And it's sad that happens at like the PT.
Yeah, and the Sens and the Enigmas had a really good time. I just won against Nu, like the mirror match.
Yeah. And then moving on into CC, like what were your odds? You were already out of top 8 at that stage, right?
Yeah, so at this point I had 4 losses and was just playing for money.
Yep.
But yeah, I just got paired into more news and more sense. and it was like I had a 50-50 win rate against both at the end of the tournament. I think the last match I remember the best. Like most of the games were kind of one-sided. Like I had the gas or the other guy had the gas. But the last match that I had to play Nick Butcher, he was on Nu with a lot of contract cards in his deck. And I just had like super good pulls at like super good variants where he like banished the right cards from my grave. So my always my blood tap was turned off, my cards would go again. Like I played the new card with Levia, right, where you banish 3, 6+, you get to play one of the banished cards. That happened as well, even with misses in the grave. Yeah, so everything went well, and I was on 13 live. He was at 10. He put in his full hand to block, and then I just I'm on the offense, draw my hand, no cards to disable Blood Depth, and I'm on 13.
Oops.
And I had 11 Blood Depth. I was trying out the mini-me decks into that game, so I thought mini-me deck says like, oh, you draw a card and then discard a random card. It's usually just there to fill my graveyard. But I thought like, oh, okay, if I can draw a card and discard a random, maybe I draw a card that disables Blood Depth. So I tried to roll Scabies, rolled a 1, and he smacked me.
So if you win this game, you're in for minimum cash, which was like 1K or something, right?
Yes.
And then to make the decision like, okay, the only way I win this game is if I roll a 4 or higher and then draw something off mini-me decks that I will not then discard. Yeah, so you make the right play, right? And it's the 1K die roll and it's a 1. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
That happens. But you end up in top 100, right?
Yeah, it was like place 86, but quite nice. Like going 8-6 over the whole weekend on the Pro Tour.
Not bad.
And I heard you brought some ELO back now to Switzerland to redistribute them amongst your ELO arm, like low ELO friends.
Oh, yep.
They're very, very nice of you. Yeah.
So how did you feel about picking Levia for the weekend? Like it also made top 8. Kevin Zenker from Germany also played Levia. Did you think it was like a really good pick for the weekend, or you just figured like it was just vibes?
I guess it was just vibes. I trained Prism for Nets, played a lot of armories with Prism and so on. But I still wasn't confident bringing Prism to the PT, because you play like 2 days and like all your opponents are really good. You're a bit more nervous maybe, and then there's like just so many like play patterns where you can like I don't know, like draw the card at the false moment, for like, or you draw the card first and then search the figment, and you mess up stuff like that, and then there's like rule breaks and everything. Just like if you're not like how like super prepared and like have all your how can you say that, like you just do stuff automatically right, like sequencing right and everything right. If you don't have that in the blood, it's like it's hard to play it for a whole weekend if you always have to think about stuff.
So what
like
you're
that
saying is you only want to play the bad decks if you play against bad Swiss players.
Yeah, yes. I thought just like, Levia is gonna be more easy, like to handle for me and to play into the tournament. So I opted for Levaya, and then first round I get Perni the New, and was like, oh, maybe I should have just bought Prism.
Yeah, but that's just like the matchup lottery. I think that can happen with every deck. Like I wouldn't worry too much about that. It probably was a good decision, right? You went out with a positive record.
Yeah,
you earned some elo. You had some fun, I guess, and I think that's what counts, right?
True.
It's about the friends we make on the way.
Speaking of friends we made along the way, let's talk about our adventure in Team Commoner.
Sure.
I don't want to. I'm traumatized.
So, Maurice, why did we play the Team Commoner?
Remind us again. Why did we play Team Commoner?
So I follow the series on the Fab TCG article series that's Dumpster Dive.
Very competitive combo decks, I heard.
Exactly. No, basically Cash Run Route from LSS always highlights like some of the spiciest decks you've ever seen in Flesh and Blood. Not necessarily the best decks, but they are really cool. So I figured if we're already going to play this commoner event, we might as well bring like some of the spice. And I built the Levaya deck that was featured in the first article, and I feel like that deck was actually pretty good. I think I went, I don't remember, 2-2 or something.
It worked out for you, I guess.
Yeah. It's and the games that I lost were close, and if I played a little more, it would probably be a little bit better. But my problem was there was only a Team Commoner event, and I needed 2 other people to play Team Commoner with me, and who better to pick than my podcast mates? But the problem was you guys did not bring any Commoner decks to the PT.
Yep.
I wouldn't call it a problem because like I think I've never played Commoner in my life before, except one game on Icelander when Amulet of Ice and things like this were legal. So like my Commoner experience is super limited. We almost never play Blitz, right? We play Draft and CC. So I would say it's like quite competitive armories where you play competitive formats. And then Maurice walks up to me and was like, yeah, you want to play Team Commoner? And I was like, yeah, I'll play the Battle-Hardened LL, but also I don't have my LL deck with me, so I'll just play your Kano CC deck. so I'll O2 drop and then we can play Team Commoner. No problem. And then that happened, but we needed some deck, right? So I think it's actually literally what happened. I O2 drop, and then Maurice picks me up and is like, so now let's go through the bulk and build you a commoner deck. So what happened? Yeah.
Our first reaction was for Ralph, we will build him the new deck that just plays 40 blue cards.
This would have been something for me, actually.
I was so on it. Yeah, it was like, oh, that's what I wanted to do in draft anyway. Always.
I think I came up to you and was like, they posted this deck list that has 40 blue cards, and you were like, hell yeah, that sounds insane. And we just ran around the venue trying to find like all these blue cards that he plays, like what was it? Oh, blue infects. We were trying to find blue infects anywhere in this event hall.
You spent all your sticks.
Yeah, I spent my prize sticks trying to open blue infects from Outsiders prize sticks. I think we would have gotten there, but last second you decided to just play Zen.
Yeah.
But maybe you should have played the all blue deck. Maybe that would have been better. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it wouldn't have made a difference because I would have lost each game. No matter what.
So what did you end up playing, Patrick?
Yeah, so we're sitting there at MST Bulk in front of us, Japanese, English, whatever. There is this enormous table where everyone puts their bulk. And we're like, yeah, let's build a commoner deck, right? And I play Enigma and CC. I like the Enigma gameplay. So I sit down and I build an Enigma deck. And I'm like, this actually feels feels great. This looks like a good deck, right? Only comments. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So I feel good, right? Spectral Manifestations is a great card if you think about it, like in a vacuum.
Vexing.
The Vexing Specters, like you can do cool things. Like there are some very good cards. So I ended up playing what I thought was a good Enigma deck. And we also have to say that, like, we have no idea about the Commoner meta, right? So if I sit down and play a game of Commoner, no matter what hero, I have no idea what they're doing. So, okay, if I see an Icelander, I'm like, okay, cool. I probably should be playing some AB and things like this, but I have no idea. Like, are they on Bullender or what is the Commoner meta even like? So we're basically
AB
new players.
The only AB we had was the promo versions that we got from the side events as well. We didn't even bring the null.
I had AB.
You had AB.
I had AB4. I was running around with AB4. Yeah.
Good.
Which didn't help. Yeah, so we end up playing Enigma, a Levia deck from a series called Dumpster Dive, which does sound very competitive. That I agree, and a random Zen deck. So we're MST team MST draft chaff plus Levia basically. Yeah, and then we start playing the tournament. How did that go?
So first round, we play some guys from Belgium.
We had perfect deck choices there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I played against Dash, I believe, Dash.io.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah.
And it was the game ends on like turn 3 or turn 2 because I just draw a pretty good hand and he draws all items and I just kill him. I felt a little bit bad about that because he clearly had put some time and effort into like building that Dash.io deck and he just got unlucky on the draw and I just like absolutely smashed him.
Yeah, but come on, we did put some time in there. I think this was this 1 hour building this deck. I think was the most stressful hour of the entire Amsterdam weekend for me.
We ran around the event hall trying to get all the cards.
Yeah. So round 1, I sit down and it's an Enigma mirror, right? And I'm already like, oh no, this person probably has more than MST cards. And then he presents Refractor, Reality Refractor, and I'm like, oh, with Spectral Manifestations, actually, this is a very good card, right? It's a superior weapon, and I'm sitting there with my random Japanese Cosmo that I found in the bulk. And we end up going into time, but it felt like not. It felt like I could have won this game. Yeah. I think I would have won the game, but he was almost out of cards. I was ahead on life, and it felt good. And at that point, I'm like, okay, if I can beat this, I can beat like anything. I'm the new Commoner champion. Like I felt very confident with the deck by going in time, not even winning and getting carried by Ralph and Maurice in the first round.
I had to play Icelander with Blue Sun. It was perfect matchup for me. and I felt confident after that match as well. Like, oh yeah, my deck is working.
Yeah, we were hyped. Like all decks did what they were supposed to do. Like everything worked out fine, and then round 2 starts, and Maurice, what happened round 2?
Yeah, round 2 we play against people that actually know how to play Commoner, and it looked a lot worse all of a sudden.
We lost all 3 games, right?
Yeah. We lost all 3 games. I play against a Brute. Actually, I think I won the Brute Mirror.
Oh,
I think I won that super tight, like, or maybe I also lost. I can't remember, but it was a super tight game. We just like both race to the bottom, and then we trade back and forth, trying not to die, and then one of us wins. On your side, you play against Icelander, Patrick, right?
Yeah, I play against Icelander, right? And I talked to Ralph, who's sitting in the middle, and I'm like, yo, I'll play AB4. I'll fatigue him, no problem. I have enough blues. I'm very confident, right? And because it was just MST Draft Chef, I played like red evasive leaps over sink belows because I didn't have my sink belows, right? And then like the game starts and he plays like basically Bullender, and I'm like, okay, cool. I can block out those cards, whatever. And then I play the evasive leap and he looks at me and he's like, block 4. And I'm like, no, 3. This is an evasive leap. And he just stares me dead in the eye and was like, why are you not playing Sink Below? And I'm like, it's a very long story.
We didn't bring any.
Evasive leap is strictly a better card. And then the game ends quite fast because whenever I get attacked with physical damage, I don't really have block cards in hand. And whenever I got presented with arcane damage, I have only red cards in hand. So like my game plan of fatiguing does not work at all. And I'm dead in like a couple of turn cycles. And the other team is like super confused because he thought that he would be unfavored into Enigma. And he didn't know what just happened, like what I played. And I was like, it's a weird deck. And I'm like, yeah, it's a very weird deck. It's a MST special deck. And then we talked a little bit. And Ralf, how did it go for you?
So I just want to say evasive leap, definitely not a commoner staple.
It's not a commoner staple, no.
Yeah, I think, was it that round where I played against the Chain, which
I think
which
so.
won the gold foil commoner event?
Yeah.
And it was not a match. It was not even close. It was just like I just lost on the spot.
Yeah. Michael, what would you have played in Commoner?
Probably also Chain.
Chain, okay. Do you have some Commoner experience?
No, not at all. Never
Chain
played
is
it.
just a broken hero in CC, so it has to be broken in
Come on.
Yeah. So next time, to everybody, like if you go to a tournament, look up what team events are there, because I think like team events are like the most fun events you can play.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the last round because it went similarly. I think we just got obliterated, right?
But we had fun.
But we had fun, yeah. It was a lot of fun. Also, like, because I think we did not know what hit us. Like, every time I lost, I was like, what just happened? Like, I had zero control of the game. It just felt like so so surreal because I could have done whatever. I would have lost either way. It just like, it felt so bad. So, yeah,
but I think what I really like about the Commoner event, or just this event specifically, I didn't play against the same deck twice. It was like the decks were all like different than the CC decks. Like I think even Chain tries to play like a different game plan than CC Chain would have.
Yeah, but for us it was new, right? If you play a lot of Commoner, then we
maybe
might
it's
know.
different. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing.
But I think my take home message from that event, specifically from that mini tournament, is that when I go to the next bigger event, like Calling, Battle Hardened, or whatever, I will bring a Commoner deck, and I will bring a Blitz deck, and I'll bring a CC deck, and I'll bring an LL deck, and then you're ready to play whatever. Because then, if your friends come to you like, oh, in an hour there is a Team Commoner event you want to play, then you can just say yes, I have time, I have a deck, let's go, and you don't have to stressfully look through bulk. I mean, we did not have to do that, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was part of the experience and it was part of the fun.
Also, big shout out to Mox in the Hole from Scotland that just brought like I don't know 5 boxes of random comments to this event in the know that people were gonna be looking for a Commoner chaff.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. It's amazing.
You be prepared for the team event.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the team event. So next time it's just team side events.
And definitely play more Commoner. Commoner is really fun.
Yeah.
And it's not just bad blitz. It's actually like really, really cool.
Yeah. I also like that whenever in an armory someone plays a common that is not a bad card, you hear Maurice from the other side of the room like yell, "Oh, commoner staple!" it's
but you would be surprised how many cards are actually like of a very high power level. They just happen to be like not quite as good as a Majestic or something. And the commoner decks are powerful. Like you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah,
like,
yours maybe, mine was not.
Yeah, yours maybe not. But even the Reality Refractor Enigma decks like seem to be pretty cool. Like
they look great. Yeah. They look very good, but
and that's the type of spice you can only find in commoner people.
That is that is true. Yeah, so PT Amsterdam I would say a success, even though we didn't cash on Battle Hardened Calling and PT.
Even though we didn't cash on anything, but
exactly. But I think it was a lot of fun, and having so many Swiss players there this year. That
also
like
a really well organized event. I have to say, it's probably been the best organized like Flesh and Blood event I've been to.
Yeah. The venue was also
great.
Super nice. Yeah.
There was like a food location right next to the venue. The hotels they organized, I thought were fine, like to stay in. They were close to the venue and like somewhat decently priced. The events all ran on time. I thought the atmosphere was pretty cool, and there were tons of people there as well.
Yeah, I think it was organized super well. Also, shout out to the judges. I was there in the last round of the calling. Before day one, last round, there is this group from Germany where we played, I think, was it in Tuttlingen, where we played RTN or something. And we ran into those people in Amsterdam, and I watched the last round of one of them playing Prism into Zen, and they have 7 minutes on the clock, and there is a judge call, and then the judge gives a ruling, then another or wants to give a ruling but asks another judge, the other judge, like they talk about the ruling, they give a ruling, then a play happens, then the Zen player is like, yeah, I know that this is not the right ruling. What are we going to do? So the two judges get a third judge that then get like the head judge. And it was the first time I've ever seen like a head judge interview all parties independently away from the table to try to get like an objective overview on what really happened. And I was there, I was observing the entire thing, right? I was there, I did hear the judge calls, I did hear the question, I observed everything because I was like observer just standing there. So I don't know if I would have even been allowed to intervene or if you would have been allowed to interview me or whatever, but like just sitting there and seeing everything getting handled super professionally, then they roll it back to like the decision, and it's like, okay, everyone did agree that there was a decision based on what the judges said, but that otherwise the decision would have been different. And like everything was handled so professionally that I was sitting there, I was like, this is so cool. No one was like, yeah, but you're wrong, or everyone was like, how can we resolve this? And then it got resolved, and then the time got added back, and they played out the game, and they finished with like 2 seconds on the clock. And of course, the Zen player who then lost was not very happy about the entire situation of not making day 2, but still, like they talked about this afterwards, and I think it was handled super respectfully and super well organized. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. This is different from other games where like a judge is saying something and then this is how it is, and then, oh, it's wrong, but what are you going to do about it? Call the police? It's like, it felt very professional, and like big respect and shout out to all the judges, and also for the floor judges who made the wrong call, saying like, oh yeah, okay, I'm very sorry that I got this wrong. I learned something, and let's try to fix this now together, instead of just like being stubborn or something. So that I was very impressed with.
Any closing remarks on the Pro Tour or the podcast?
Next Pro Tour we'll all play and we'll all win.
It's going to be Team Commoner Pro Tour. We're coming.
Exactly. Are you? Who's trying to play Worlds? Michael, are you going to Worlds?
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. That's exciting. That's
So
good
Ralph's
news.
also going, so we'll have some people to root for in the world.
We'll have some field reports. What are the next big events? Yeah, you guys are going to.
Probably calling Lyon.
Yeah, you're going. Okay.
Yes.
I was approached yesterday if I want to go to Lyon. I was like, when is it? And then I was like, what? Why not? Actually, why not? Rosetta will be out for 2 weeks or something like this. So you have 2 weeks time to make Oscillo the most broken combo deck in the game before any bannings happen. So that is my challenge now. If I manage that, then I'll go to Lyon. If not, then I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can make it to Lyon. We'll see. I'll definitely make it to Battlehard and Geneva, which was also announced at the Pro Tour. Any shout outs, Michael?
Shout out to the whole community, like Zurich region, Weinfelden, Winter Tour, and yeah, just amazing community and probably what keeps us all in the game, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time. And yeah, after Lyon, we'll interview you again if you won that event.
Yeah.
You're always welcome. Awesome.
Thanks.
Cool.
right.
Then thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's show. You can find us on Twitter under the handle @LDFpod. That's LDFPOD. Or you can send us an email under questions@LDFpod.com. That's questions@LDFPOD.com. We're looking forward to hearing from all of you and hope you tune in again when it's time for the LDF podcast.